Hello, my name is Roald. I'm the creator of Unbound Being, and today I'm back to speak about the wild dog on a leash. You know, I hear a lot of teachers and gurus speak about, allow the mind, allow the thoughts, allow them to just be there and don't pay attention to them. And it has a practical purpose, which is that most people, if they want to stop the mind, stop the thinking process, that will be the mind itself trying to do that, which causes more frustration, which actually feeds the mind, and therefore the mind gets more active, more powered up, more juice. So it's true, there's an aspect to it. However, there's also a danger in saying that, because you see, for most people, they have no control over their mind. In other words, they don't know themselves to be anything other than the thinking mind, the voices in their head that keep on talking about things that are not here, that are not presently here, but always about things in the past and the future, and regurgitating and vomiting out these kinds of beliefs about themselves and what they have to do and where they have to go and all these things. Working out, always at the steering wheel, this pirate, mind always being the one doing it all and thinking it has to work things out, even up to, when you're old and retired, it has to plan these things. Well, for most people, this mind is fully out of control, and it's like a wild dog on a leash. In other words, a lot of people, if you go walk with your dog and it's not a controlled dog, which is for most people, the mind is not under control, they have no control over it whatsoever, it would bark at everybody, it would bite and snap at everybody, it would pull on the leash, and whatever it sees, it goes off, and it goes off here. And of course, if you'd be walking in the forest and there's nobody around, no animals, and it's a quiet, windless day, and the dog might be pretty well behaved. And so a lot of people in this world think, I don't have any trouble with my mind. I walk around, use my mind, I'm quite happy. That is, of course, until a rabbit runs by and boom, the mind goes off. That's until somebody in your family dies, or you lose your business, or somebody tells you got a serious disease and you got to get operated or something like that. That's usually when you'll notice whether your dog is really that trained well, as a servant, because that's what the mind should be. It should be a tool serving you in the functioning and planning of future and past, but no more than that, not indulging in it all the time. So for most people, it is not like that. For most people, they'll notice sooner or later, because they don't know who they are, and they believed and they gave their mind complete freedom to go and run off after everything, never being present, never being still, never being here, but the mind always exercising its muscles in past and future, never living here. They have become so out of control. The mind is so much dominance. It has become the tyrant. From the servant, it became, above the king. It tyrannizes the king, which is intelligence, pure perception. And so the dog would not only run after everything, bark at everything, try to pull on the leash, but it actually turns around and bites the owner. Now, of course, the pure intelligence, the pure perception behind it all, which is not the body, not the mind, not on that, but just pure perception, which is in everything and everybody, the same I, cannot be bitten. So it's a little bit wacky analogy, but the point is, the dog is not just pulling on the leash to try to bite other people and bark at other people. The dog turns around on people. So you'll find that when you find a friend or family member or yourself at some time where you've had some big issue that you could not stop thinking. In fact, you would eat yourself up. It would kill you, literally. You just lay a night wake at night, sleep without sleeping, and just restless and worrying and anxious and going over and over and over the same old story, different angles, what's going to happen, what's not going to happen, how are you going to lose out? And you've survived all those things. And yet the mind would not leave you alone, because it's like a wild dog on a leash, not just running after everything out there, but also biting the owner himself. So it is not true to say, let your mind go. It's not absolutely true. Let your mind do whatever it wants. The fact is, by not remaining here, by not just resting as the presence, by being still, by the mind having to sit down like a dog and just, even if you put a steak in front of it, it should be, until you say eat, it should not eat, right? The mind should be a tool, a servant, not a wild dog on a leash. It should listen, and when you use it, okay, go plan this to me, plan my holiday, or a business thing, something you have to work out, use the mind. But you tell it to go out. In other words, it doesn't just run around like a wild dog everywhere, biting, sniffing, barking, you have to get control of it, because you don't want a wild dog on a leash. And so in one way, it's true. You know, don't resist the mind. Don't try to stop the mind, because it probably will be the mind trying to stop the mind, and that will feed it. On the other hand, be very careful not to exercise on a daily basis this thinking process, which just runs all over the place. Is worrying about everything, thinking about everything, useless thoughts. Even when you're doing the dishes, just going over nonsense. This is a wild dog being left and allowed to go everywhere all the time. So keep the dog on the leash, get him in control, go to a good trainer, and get your mind to be a servant again and not a tyrant. Because stillness is still the way.